government comes, Rick, with a high standard of openness and understanding that, yes, I did do something wrong. Because I believe, I'm a born UWP, not my fault, but I believe that when UWP 97, they were sitting on their behinds. They weren't talk shows for say back then. Things were not, people were not being aware of the openness to what's going on in the country in the sense of yourself and your show and other shows, of course. And all of these started generating thereafter, more or less. But still, the country was being led by a bunch of guys who, back then, UWP was sitting in their chairs and feeling rather comfortable.
You took a lot for granted.
Yes, very well said, Rick. And what I want to hear is where, yes, they fell short. Admit you fell short, and then tell the people what shortcomings you have seen.
Exactly, what you've learned, experience.
Do. Exactly. Yeah. It is sad for me to see that things like the sports complex not change for so many years. This first facility, which brought sporting events from all over Windward Island, games and so on. I sat there once with the chap who's now the president, I think, of the cricket thing. He was the PS one day, and I sat alongside him, and there was a Windward Islands game, and, I was watching the schools play, and rain trickled in, and there they came out with little mops and pieces of sponge, and they were mopping it up, and I said to him, when are we going to graduate from such? I mean, we're an island that could be a model for other islands, but yet still we don't improve because it wasn't my government that put it there. We're not improving it. If somebody put something in place and I took over it, my thing is that yes, you.
But you got to admit the guys are giving you two major sporting facilities.
Yeah. They're major. One is so major that it doesn't meet the standards. That's how major it is. It meets probably another body standards, but the biggest bodies of athletics and so on, which
my major concern, caller, is that we have these things and we don't have athletes.
That too.
And we're really not doing.
Rick, I grew up in Marshall. Rick, you couldn't pass by Mindu Philip Park. It was like, the stigma is still that way. We're having senior games on it, sure, but encourage the youth to learn to run on such facilities, even if it's not approved, as so they say. But get people to have a bit of it. I wish my son maybe one day could run on it. I'm not sure how.
What I'm thinking is that we got to get very, very serious with sports in our schools.
But sports
in the schools.
We
got to be very, very serious.
Rick, I'll say a saying here which you probably will note me on. Where are the Boy Scout days and the Cub days?
Oh.
Okay, where are those days from primary school up? These are the things we need to get back rolling.
Well, we don't need to go back to scout things. We can have modern day organizations.
Agree.
Scouts will serve its purpose. And the Scouts thing has a lot of problems too.
Yes, I know. We don't want to
go there. But the idea of abandoning the whole thing,
that's the thing. You must have something to replace it.
Sports in the schools.
We need it, Rick. Sports bring the kids together, bring discipline. The youth have lost avenues of sports.
But it's not just the youth, check the adults.
Well,
I said before on the show that all the institutions have just died. All the institutions have lost their... In fact, I was saying to my friend this morning that the Pope, maybe now that the Pope has said it, something will happen. Mm-hmm. The Pope has said to the Catholic Church, look, you screwed up, now go on there and fix yourselves and get your image back again.
But here it is to the main point you just made, admitting something went wrong, we look
and fix it.
And we fix it, and then we move on.
Okay, caller,
Rick,
thank you very much.
Likewise.
Yeah. That's right. The Pope has said, you with all your pedophilia and whatnot, you screwed up the image of the church. Now get out in the streets and do what you have to do. Restore yourself. Talk to me.
Yeah, I just called to say that too much money is spending and certain people suffering. Thank you.
Hello. These guys that run away, so too much money is being spent and too many people are suffering. I'd like to get in some details of that. Why do you run away like that, man? We have another call, Junior? I don't know why people just hit and run like that, The whole idea of this show is to give you an opportunity to talk. Talk to me.
Yo, Rick, I've been listening to you and I've been trying to get to you for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
It seems to me that the politicians, now that it's coming close to election time,
The what?
are being very selective. Now that it's coming close to election time,
Yeah.
especially the opposition politicians,
Yeah.
they've been very selective on the issues that they want to comment on.
They're talking
For
no
example-
issues. Nobody's talking issues.
Yeah, but for example, let me just say one politician in particular. A couple of weeks ago when Richard Pajuk was asked questions with reference to the young guy that was killed at the CDC, he was very diplomatic in the answers that he gave. And now we're looking at an election possibly in the next few weeks, and that fiasco with the police there. I mean, not one of your politicians have said anything with regards to it.
That's right.
You're
But,
looking at,
Colin, but let me say something else. What is happening in this country is people advise people. And on both sides of the fence, the advisors are telling them, be very careful what you say. They want the police vote. They want the family vote. Be careful what you say. A lot of stupidity is going on. They don't realize by saying nothing, they're doing themselves more harm.
Yeah, but then again, you see, because they're appealing to the so-called masses, the people that they think are more wise enough.
That's the operative
You
word.
understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
They think.
But they're making a mistake there.
But Colin,
because
you know, it's interesting. I've had about 4 calls so far, and nobody has called to make a comment